Good evening. You're watching the news tonight, your daily roundup of all that has happened across India and the world. I'm Ishan Russell and these are the headlines that we're tracking this evening. India signs the €7.87 billion Rafale deal to buy 36 jets from France. Agreement marks country's first major acquisition of combat planes in 2 decades. Jets to be delivered after 3 years. Karnataka Assembly passes unanimous resolution against releasing additional Kaveri water to Tamil Nadu, decides that storages will be used only to meet drinking water needs of villages and towns in the Kaveri basin. Three-day National Council meet of the BJP starts in Kozhikode amid a focus on finalizing a pro-poor agenda. Ruling party likely to address concerns on national security and terrorism in the wake of the Uri terror attack. And the Goa Children's Court acquits 2 accused in the rape and murder case of Scarlett Keeling. The 15-year-old British girl was found dead on the popular Anjana beach 8 years ago. Our top story this evening, India and France signed the much-awaited Rafale deal in New Delhi on Friday, ending almost 18 months of wrangling over terms between New Delhi and manufacturer Dassault Aviation. The signing was concluded at Hyderabad House in the presence of the Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar and his French counterpart. The deal includes the purchase of 36 aircraft, weapons, spares, support and maintenance, and the jet will be customised as per the requirements of the Indian Air Force.
Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar and his French counterpart Jean-Yves Le Drian signing the €7.87 billion Rafale deal on Friday. The deal enables India to purchase 36 Rafale jets from France, the country's first major acquisition of combat planes in 2 decades. However, India will get the delivery of the fighter jets only 3 years later, as France is committed to make deliveries first to Qatar and then to Saudi Arabia. All 36 Rafale jets will be delivered to India in a span of 5.5 years. The aircraft will be fitted with equipment that can throw missiles up to 100 to 300 kilometers from within the Indian territory.
आज भारत ने फ्रांस के साथ राफेल के बारे में इंटर गवर्नमेंटल एग्रीमेंट अंतर्देशीय समझौता कर लिया है, जिससे हमें एक पोटेंट इफेक्टिव फाइटर जो एयरफोर्स की एक अहम ज़रूरत थी वो मिलने का मार्ग खुला हो गया। ये 20 बरस में पहला एयर फाइटर के लिए पहला सौदा है, which is a uniqueness in itself.
Pourtant, l'Inde et la France ont été partenaires, même à des moments où l'Inde était seule, la France était là. Aujourd'hui, on est parti sur une nouvelle phase historique importante.
Negotiations for the purchase of these fighter jets have been going on since early 2000. The initial proposal was to buy a total of 126 jets. However, due to differences over pricing and mountable devices, both countries could not reach a consensus. Talks on fast-tracking the deal gained momentum after Narendra Modi became Prime Minister in 2014. He proposed to buy the 36 Rafale jets during his visit to France, following which the deal was finalized at a price that is almost €750 million less than what was being quoted by the French side in January 2016. The jets that have now come to India will be equipped with state-of-the-art missiles like Meteor and Scalp, giving Indian Air Force a capability that had been sorely missing in its arsenal.
I wish Rafale deal had taken faster, and at least our squadron strength could have been built up, and we should have had gone for more than at least 4 squadrons and not 2 squadrons.
The new deal also comes with several other discounts. Makers of the Rafale jets, Dassault Aviation, will have to ensure that at least 75% of the entire fleet remains operational at any given time. This warranty is signed for the first 5 years. Other concessions include free training for 9 Indian Air Force personnel, including 3 pilots, besides additional guarantee for 60 hours of usage of training aircraft for Indian pilots and 6 months of free weapons storage in case the Indian infrastructure is not ready for storing the weapons.
India plans to buy some more advanced aircraft from Russia and some other countries. It will give rise to arms race for some time. But Government of India thinks that given the nature of China and Pakistan, this type of purchase is most necessary. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Television with camera person Monish in Delhi.
A special session of the Karnataka Assembly on Friday unanimously decided not to release additional Kaveri water to Tamil Nadu. The session also decided that no water from the president's storages will be drawn except to meet the drinking water needs of villages and towns in the Kaveri Basin and Bengaluru city.
At a special session of both houses, the Karnataka Assembly on Friday passed a unanimous resolution to only release water that meets the basic concerns of Bengaluru and the Kaveri Basin. The resolution also ignored the Supreme Court's directive to release Kaveri water to neighbouring Tamil Nadu for irrigation.
The government ensures that no water from the present storages be drawn, saved and except for meeting drinking water requirements of the villages and towns in the Kaveri Basin and for the entire city of Brahat Bengaluru.
All parties unanimously decided that water from the present storage will be used only to meet the drinking water needs of villages and towns in the Kaveri Basin and Bengaluru city. Leaders denied that the developments put the state on a collision course with the judiciary.
Supreme Court, they have passed 3 orders within a period of about 12 days now. All the 3 orders, they are all in the nature of interim orders. Why should the Supreme Court pass such orders? Much against the wishes of the people of Karnataka, knowingly that we do not have that much of water, and knowingly that the Tamil Nadu has got sufficient water for all their irrigation purposes, and we are suffering for want of giving water to the drinking people in Karnataka.
See, they are doing contempt of court. See, justice is the main thing in this country. Each and every person has to follow whatever the judgment says when the case goes to the court. And this issue they are making as a politics. Karnataka government is making as a politics because they are going to face elections very soon.
Karnataka CM stand is unlawful. I think the court will consider it, take cognizance of the statement and do something.
On 19 September, the Kaveri Supervisory Committee had asked Karnataka to release 3,000 cusecs of water per day between September 21st and 30th. The Supreme Court doubled the quantum to 6,000 cusecs per day after Tamil Nadu pressed for water to save its samba paddy crop. The water was to be released from the 21st till the 27th of September. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, the BJP's National Council meet started in Kozhikode on Friday with poverty alleviation as its focal point. Even though the upliftment of the poor tops the agenda, the party will also talk about the situation post the Uri terror attack. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address a public rally on Saturday, the first such event after the Uri attack last Sunday.
The 3-day National Council meet of the BJP began in Kozhikode on Friday with a meeting of the national office bearers. The entire city is decked up with party flags and huge posters and banners bearing the images of senior party leaders. The venue has been selected as a mark of respect to one of the founding fathers of the saffron movement, Deen Dayal Upadhyay. Upadhyay was appointed president of the Bharatiya Jan Sangh in Kozhikode in December 1967.
In a way, this National Council meeting here, which is taking place on the eve of the birth centenary of Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay ji, will provide us an opportunity to rededicate ourselves to the ideology propounded by Pandit Deen Dayal ji.
While the focus of this meet is the welfare of the downtrodden, the Uri terror attack seems to have forced the party to recalibrate its agenda. With the party's founder Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay's views on the Kashmir issue prominently displayed at the venue along with Prime Minister Narendra Modi's.
You will naturally have one major issue in your minds about the situation in the country, in the neighborhood, etc., etc. It's a very important national council, but its focus is on Pandit Deen Dayal ji, his ideology, his commitment to poor and downtrodden people, how to take it forward. But when we meet at an important meeting like this, it's natural that all the important issues before the nation will be discussed at appropriate levels.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address a public gathering on Saturday and also honour senior leaders from the days of Jan Sangh. An exhibition on the life and work of Deen Dayal Upadhyay and the history of Jan Sangh and the BJP will also be held during this meet. With inputs from Vishal Daya in Kozhikode, Bureau Report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, the Maharashtra police have issued sketches of 5 suspects who were spotted by school children near the naval base in Uran town of Rajya district. The spotting on Thursday sent security agencies into a tizzy. The sketch, which has been circulated among all investigating agencies, was based on the description provided by the 3 school students who reportedly spotted the men. A high alert has been sounded along the Mumbai coast and adjoining areas. The police, Maharashtra's anti-terror squad and the Navy are all involved in the massive multi-agency search operation. The Navy has also pressed into service its choppers for aerial surveillance and heightened patrolling in the sea. Schools and colleges remain shut after the news spread in Uran and to nearby towns.
सब एजेंसीज मुंबई पहुंच गई है तो किसी को कुछ चिंता करने की जरूरी नहीं है। लोग शांति बनाए रखें, अफवाहों पे विश्वास नहीं करें और गवर्नमेंट एजेंसीज को कोऑपरेट करें। अगर कोई भी सस्पिशियस चीज़ आपको लगे तो आप तुरंत पुलिस को इसके बारे में इन्फॉर्म करें और इसको अन्य किसी से शेयर नहीं करें।
A verdict in the 8-year-old Scarlett Keeling rape and murder case was delivered on Friday, bringing with it a huge disappointment for the victim's family. A Goa Children's Court acquitted both accused of all charges, dealing a severe blow to Scarlett's mother, Fiona, who has been camping in India for years with the hope to get justice for her daughter.
I was hoping for a guilty verdict. I'm still shocked it was so quick.
The devastated mother of British teenager Scarlett Keeling walking out of the Goa court on Friday, moments after the acquittal of the 2 accused in her daughter's rape and murder case. Speaking to the media, she said she's lost all hope in the country's judicial system.
The CBI have got to take an appeal or decide whether they're going to take an appeal, but I don't know if I've got any faith in the justice system here to give us justice anymore. It's taken a lot of effort for me to stay positive and have some faith that something would come through for us. I don't know if I can draw the strength up to carry on having that kind of faith. I just want to be with my children right now.
The accused, Samson D'Souza and Placido Carvalho, both of whom worked in a beach shack, were acquitted of all charges by the Goa Children's Court.
Justice has been prevailed, so I'm happy.
Goa Chief Minister Lakshmikant Parsekar termed the judgment unfortunate, but said the government did everything to ensure a fair probe.
Judgment outcome, I personally feel is unfortunate. Government has left no stone unturned. Whatever we have cooperated to the party in all respect.
8 years ago, 15-year-old Scarlett Keeling's bruised and half-naked body was found on the popular Anjuna beach in Goa. Her death made headlines worldwide and triggered a debate on how unsafe the popular tourist destination was for foreigners, especially for women. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, the Delhi High Court has allowed the Facebook-owned WhatsApp to enforce its new privacy policy from 25th September. In fact, it has also issued directions to safeguard the interest of users. The High Court directed that WhatsApp cannot use the data of users before 25th September. Protection of data will also be extended to those who delete their WhatsApp account. Last month, WhatsApp pushed a notification to all its users asking them to accept recent changes in its terms and conditions. Many users agreed without checking the new privacy policy changes that allowed WhatsApp to hand over information about them to its parent company, Facebook, for commercial use. Defending the new policy, WhatsApp told the court that it was not forcing anyone to use its app, as users have the option not to use the messaging service. The non-stop heavy rains have brought normal life to a complete halt in Hyderabad. In neighbouring Andhra Pradesh, 4 more deaths have brought the death toll to 9 in rain-related incidents. The heavy rains in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh are triggered by cyclonic circulation over West, Central and Northwest Bay of Bengal. Traffic movement was affected as water from overflowing lakes and rains flooded the streets. Waist-high water disrupted rail traffic, while people have been airlifted from several low-lying areas. Schools have been shut for the past 2 days from, in fact, Friday. and employees of private companies have been told to work from home. Meanwhile, the Met Department has warned of heavy to very heavy rains in the coming days. While the National Disaster Response Force was summoned for help with rescue operations, the army has also been put on standby.
ये बारिश एक जगह नहीं बहुत जगह गिर रहा है, इससे स्पेशली अपने हैदराबाद में बहुत प्रॉब्लम हो रहा, मगर ये प्रॉब्लम होते भी पानी तो आ रहा, मगर दिस गवर्नमेंट हैज टेकन more steps to rescue many people from the lower levels. And anyhow, the rain will continue for 2 days, 3 days, they said. Today only, the KTR has announced that these schools have given holidays for 2 days.
In Telangana state also it is expected that under the influence of this well-marked low pressure, there is likelihood of widespread rainfall activity during next 5 days, and also there is likely to be 1 or 2 places isolated heavy to rather heavy rainfall in some districts.
Some more national news updates now nationwide. The Supreme Court on Friday issued notices to Bihar Health Minister Tej Pratap Yadav and former RJD MP Mohammad Shahabuddin in connection with the murder of Siwan journalist Rajya Ranjan. Tej Pratap's picture with one of the accused in the murder case recently went viral, prompting opposition parties to accuse him of protecting the killers. Rajya Ranjan's wife asked the court to transfer the case to Delhi, fearing a mistrial in Bihar. The Home Ministry is reportedly examining Baloch leader Bramugda Bukti's application seeking political asylum in India. Bukti had applied for asylum in the Indian consulate in Geneva 3 days ago. The application can be approved only after security verification is carried out and is said to be a political decision that will be taken at the highest level. Bukti is the founder and president of the Balochistan Republican Party. Currently living in exile in Switzerland, he has been leading the Baloch movement against Pakistan. The Supreme Court today asked Sahara Chief Subrat Roy to surrender by the September 30th. Earlier in the day, the top court had refused to extend his parole and ordered that he be sent back to Tihar jail. However, after an apology from Roy over the behavior of one of his lawyers, the Supreme Court gave him a deadline for surrender. The top court will hear his parole petition on 28 September. He is out on parole since May after spending 2 years at Delhi's Tihar jail. Delhi Commission for Women Chairperson Swati Maliwal alleged that a union minister and a Delhi political leader were involved in managing brothels on GB Road. She claimed that Delhi police had registered an FIR against her since she was probing ownership records of establishments on GB Road. Rubbishing her allegations, Delhi BJP Chief Satish Upadhyay challenged her to disclose the names if she had any evidence. The anti-corruption branch had registered an FIR against Maliwal over appointments in the DCW on Tuesday. The Supreme Court today said that former Haryana Police Chief SPS Rathore will not go back to jail. Rathore was pronounced guilty of molesting Ruchika Girotra, an upcoming tennis player in Chandigarh in 1990, and accused of driving her to suicide. The court reduced his jail term but confirmed his conviction. He spent 6 months in jail after being convicted in 2010. The High Court had extended his jail term to 18 months, which he challenged in the Supreme Court. Time for us to take a short break. Lots more on the other side. Do stay tuned.
Our institute's mandate is to work with different natural fibers, excluding cotton. Plastic has got definite advantages, it's true, but simultaneously it is also true that it is not biodegradable. We have developed a technology using which almost no water is required.
Watch Eureka with Dr. Gautam Roy, Director, National Institute of Research on Jute and Allied Fiber Technology, only on Rajya Sabha TV.
Welcome back. You're watching the news tonight. Some international news now, and Russian forces arrived in Pakistan for its first ever joint military drill. The drill is scheduled to begin on Saturday. Around 200 Russian troops are participating in the military exercise. The military exercise was earlier reported to have been cancelled in the wake of the Uri terror attack. The two-week military drill has been named Friendship 2016 and is the first between the two former Cold War rivals. It will continue till the 7th of October. Although not many details are forthcoming, the drill is supposed to take place in mountainous areas. The exercise is being seen as a signal that Moscow and Islamabad are deepening their military cooperation. In the United States, after 3 days of protests over the killing of an African American by a police officer, demonstrations dwindled early on Friday in North Carolina's Charlotte district. Family members of the victim were also shown the video of the incident that led to the shooting. Amid calls for a public airing of the video, they said it raised more questions than providing answers.
Riots continued in Charlotte, North Carolina for the third day on Thursday night. Protesters defied the midnight curfew to come out in force to demonstrate against Tuesday's killing of an African American by the police.
I don't agree with that simply because I'm grown and I feel like I should be able to, stay out as long as I want. As far as my reasons for doing this, I have one sibling and he is my brother and I feel like it's my duty to protect him.
We have nothing to lose but our chains. We have nothing to lose but our chains.
A protester who was injured in the rioting on Wednesday died on Thursday. 9 people have been injured so far and 44 others are arrested. National Guard troops assisted the police force to help quell the crowd.
If there is a curfew, I would try to work with the ministers that's out here and try to get people to comply because they've done so well thus far. We don't need to ruin it. We don't need no negative spin on what they're done. I'm very proud of the young people of Charlotte. They stood up, they acted in a professional manner. They're not tearing things up like the media would like for them to do. And I'm hoping that they continue to do that.
43-year-old Keith Scott was killed on Tuesday as part of a police search for another man. The police alleged that Scott was carrying a gun when he approached officers and ignored repeated orders to drop it.
I'm being honest. You feel me? If I gotta die over that curfew, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Y'all ain't gonna stop me. What if I was working? What if I had a job? Y'all gonna tell me to leave my job early?
Scott's family members previously said he was holding a book and not a firearm. But after viewing 2 videos recorded by police body cameras, they now say they have more questions than answers.
I definitely think that the video needs to be shown for everyone because the chief of police actually was saying that he saw the video and the video vindicated or justified the shooting initially. And then later on, once he's seen it, he said what he saw did not definitively show that the guy raised his hand or was shooting a weapon. But it still raises a lot of questions and concerns about what actually happened.
The police admit that the video supports their account but does not conclusively show Scott pointing a gun at their officers. Scott's death is the latest incident to stir passions in the United States over the police's use of deadly force against African Americans. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, there are signals of further escalation in the bombing campaign in the Syrian city of Aleppo. The Syrian army has announced the start of a new offensive in rebel-held east of the city. The developments come as efforts to ease the humanitarian crisis in Syria have largely fallen short, with the United States and Russia, who support the opposite sides in the conflict, failing to reach a consensus on reviving the ceasefire that was just enforced just a week back.
Residents of Talbasa in Homs province are running for cover as airstrikes hit. A woman was killed and a number of children injured. The residents are shattered. Just a few days back, they had celebrated Eid as a ceasefire was announced. But unfortunately for them, things are back to square one. Jets have been pounding several rebel-held positions in the city and elsewhere as a week-old truce collapsed. And Syrian military has now announced a new offensive in rebel-held eastern Aleppo, where 250,000 people are living under siege. The developments come as talks between the US and Russia in reviving the collapsed ceasefire broke up without progress in New York. Things have been even more hostile after an aid convoy was attacked in Aleppo, which UN deemed a potential war crime. The US accused Russia of bombing the convoy, while Russia denied responsibility. On Thursday, US Secretary of State John Kerry said Washington cannot be the only one trying to hold open the door to peace. United Nations says it was still working to restart peace talks.
This effort has always depended on Russia having the will and the wherewithal both to comply and to deliver the Assad regime and its partners, and depends on the opposition.
Обеспечить соблюдение перемирия. Были попытки наших некоторых партнеров сделать так, чтобы лишь односторонние шаги предпринимало правительство, но мы настаиваем и находим поддержку, что
the co-chairs are determined to make the agreement work, and they have the support of the members of the Security Council. That was absolutely clear, and hopefully today this will be reflected in the deliberations of the ISSG.
The Syrian declaration of a new offensive further undermines hopes of restarting the ceasefire. Aleppo has already seen an escalation of a bombing campaign in the last 24 hours that has left dozens of civilians dead. And with the army now urging civilians here to avoid areas where terrorists are located, the conflict is only getting worse. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Some more international news now in Global Buzz. 8 firefighters died in a major fire in the east of Moscow. Their bodies were discovered in the rubble left by the fire this morning. Russia's emergencies ministry said the firefighters were on the roof of a building when it collapsed. The fire burned down a large warehouse containing plastic materials on Thursday evening. Yahoo Incorporated has said that at least 500 million of its accounts were hacked in 2014. It added that it saw the hand of a state-sponsored actor. The theft appears to be the world's biggest known cyber breach so far. The attack on Yahoo was unprecedented in size, more than triple other large attacks on sites such as eBay, and it comes to light at a time difficult for Yahoo. The website encouraged its users to change their passwords. A strong earthquake measuring 6.4 on the Richter scale struck off the east coast of Japan, about 150 kilometers southeast of the Katsura city. The Japan Met Agency said that there was no threat of a tsunami. No injuries or damage were reported immediately. Time for some sports now, and a sharp spell of rain played spoil sport for the Kiwis as they cruised to a formidable position in the Kanpur Test as play was called off early on day 2. New Zealand ended the day at 152 for 1, 166 runs short of India's total of 318, with Kane Williamson and Tom Latham at the crease. India started the day on 291 for 9, with Jadeja looking to boost the total, but the last batsman packed up at a total of 318. The pitch gave the Indian spinners much more turn than the New Zealanders, with Umesh Yadav trapping Martin Guptill in the front. But then the Indian bowlers ran into the formidable Kane Williamson. Williamson, along with Tom Latham, played on steady as the Indian bowlers tried to dislodge them. The duo added a 117-run stand. Well, that's the news tonight. Good night.